I think Time to Talk and the occasion that was put together by Mind and Rethinking Mental Health in partnership with Co-op is highlighting, and it's useful for us to journalise how important it is for us to discuss mental health, just like it is our physical health, understand the relationship between mental and physical health, but remove the taboo about mental health, which I think is far less than it was many years ago, but it's still there so that we can normalise the chat and the conversation about our mental health and how to optimise our mental health, not just talk about the difficulties of mental health, but what facilitates and makes it as good as it possibly can be. So I started out as a psychologist, or training in psychology, and then specifically forensic psychology, training both in Ireland and England, and then eventually going to do further training in Australia, which I really enjoyed. Always had a massive motivation to be a medical doctor as well, so came back and studied again medicine and went into surgery. And from that, rather than actually lose one for the other, I gained a real appreciation for the relationship between mental and physical health. So kept registrations and practice in both, and really enjoyed it for years. We ended up having a dual career, as it were, but as a result, ended up knowing how mental health could increase the well-being, physical well-being of patients, and how the physical well-being of patients was really good for their motivation and mental health. So I've been very interested in that and the health of people in both realms for over 20 years now. Not much was talked about in relation to mental health 20, 30 years ago, and now it's become far more talked about, which is amazing. But sometimes people may think that they have a bad mental health or something wrong with them when they're just having a bad week and they're in a bad mood. So it's very important to differentiate the two. I kind of have a golden rule with patients that if you should have a wellness toolbox, all the things that you enjoy doing, like going for a walk, going to a movie, your favorite food, who you like to talk to. And just know if you don't want to do any of those things, you might be just having a bad week and you might be just tired, and that's okay. But if that goes on for 2 weeks and it's consistent and you don't want to do the same stuff, and also you're not eating well and you're not sleeping well, then that's probably indicative of bad mental health. So just being able to differentiate and have a conversation with yourself and be aware. Bad mood is very different than bad mental health, but bad mood can often be the introduction or precursor to bad mental health. So a bit of insight and mindful of your wellness toolbox to be able to differentiate the two. So important to understand, we think about 1 in 4 to 1 in 5 people have a mental health challenge, and that can be anything from very poor sleep pattern up to a paranoid schizophrenia, massive spectrum of different presentations. The most common mental health challenge are anxiety and depression, and they occur in over 75% of people. Interestingly, in over 80% of that demographic, people have both. So very often they start with anxiety, which is palpitations, feeling on edge, social withdrawal, generally unhappy, and just feeling a certain sense of impending danger. And that manifests and becomes acute or chronic depression, which is social apathy, social withdrawal, low mood, becoming emotional, not wanting to eat. And anxiety and depression are probably the most common, but also what a lot of people don't understand is they're the most treatable. So if you identify you have one or the other and you get treatment within the first 2 to 6 weeks of that presentation, you can have 4 to 6 sessions of cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's effective in over 80-90% of the time to treat you within those sessions, and you'd be fully recovered within 6 months. So depression and anxiety are the ones to watch out for. Probably the other one I would say is sleep. So over a third of us have difficulty sleeping, and interestingly, over 60% of that third are women. So we don't know why that is, but helping your sleep hygiene and using apps like Sleepio and other devices can be very helpful, because no matter what mental health problem or challenge or even bad mood you're having, it's much worse if you can't sleep.